Hello everyone. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Welcome to tonight's live stream. Tonight's live stream is inspired from our previous live stream last weekend where we played Destiny 2. And one of the questions a few people asked was about the skill tree and how we can make something like a skill tree in Unreal. So that's what we're going to attempt to do live tonight. We are live and this is a live tutorial. Sort of a live class, so to speak. And one thing to note about these videos, if this is your first time watching this involves no prep. Literally, my prep has been the last 10 minutes just downloading some images that we could use, but that is it. So, yep, you're going to see it all raw footage. You're going to see me make mistakes. You can see me try and problem solve. And that's why we do these things live, because you get to see me problem solve and how I approach those problems. Now, the skill tree system is a large project, so we're going to try our best to get as much as we can in this live show. If we don't get it done, I'm not too fussed, because what I will be doing at some point is making this a full series with no warts or anything like that, so actual series. So we'll see how far we get, and we see how far we figure it out, but that's where we're at. So let's get cracking. I've got chat open, by the way. I'll try and keep an eye on it, but we will be going very fast through this, so I will be going, especially at the start, going quite quickly to get things set up. So let's begin. First of all, let's keep ourselves organized and create a folder system for the skill tree, and we'll make the UI first of all, as that's quite important, and some basic stuff as well that we need, that the template defaults don't give you. So I'm going to go give us a heads-up display, which is just going to be a canvas. It's nothing special, which you see here. We leave it blank like so. But what we will be doing, is going to the canvas panel here and ticking is variable and going HUD canvas. By the way, my children are in bed, but they may be screaming and I may have to go deal with them. So if I do, I'll be right back as soon as I do. Okay, so that's the heads-up display. We're going to the skill tree, and in here we'll create another widget for the skill tree UI. And this will be the main menu screen that's going to show off the whole skill tree. Speaking of children, my son has started crying. I'll be right back. Sorry, realised I was on mute. Anyway, hello. I'll start again. So, yeah, sorry about that. So my son will start screaming as soon as I push play. Anyway, so you haven't missed much. I'm literally just describing Destiny 2 skill tree, how it works. The skill tree in Destiny 2 is an interesting one to do because it combines several ideas from skill trees. So we've got multiple branches. So you've got branch 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, and 4 here. There's also a 5th one up here too. And the way these work is you got inside this branch, you got an exclusive choice. So you can only choose one of the 3. Same as this one here. This one's 2 options, but it's still exclusive, so you can only choose one of the 2. And then you've got these 2 branches. Now you can only choose one of these 2, but these have the option to have all 4 of them selected. Okay, so you can combine all 4. So that's what we're trying to replicate today. I say we will do a full series on this in the future anyway, with a far more fleshed out, with more time. Oh, I'm out of breath. I've got to run up 2 flights of stairs to get to my son, so bear with me. Okay, so that's our skill tree. So we're going to try and recreate that shape first of all, and the layout of that. So we've got a skill tree, and we're also going to do a skill tree branch for this. So I'll call it a skill branch. And this is going to be like a panel that we can drag up into our UI, and this is going to contain the slots. So if I go back to my image here, this would be one of these. Okay, so that's a sub widget. We also need to make another sub widget for these individual icons. So let's make another one of those, and we'll go skill. Okay, skill slot. I don't know. It's not really a slot, is it? A skill. Just do skill. That'll do. Okay. Next, we're going to make in Photoshop the shape of what we saw there. So I'm just going to do diamond shape, and just fill that in like that. And oh. Do that. That's our mask, and then I've downloaded some images that I can try and use. Hang on, I don't know what they look like, so try and figure something out. Okay, so let's just drag some in here. So we need one that's like 3 different choices. So let's go for sort of an AOE type thing, like an instant spell like one. Okay, let's do a healthy one, and we'll drag that into Photoshop, and let's do a thunderbolt lightning one. These are like ability like ones. Oh, I'll do that first. These are like ability based ones. We'll do stat ones and modify ones as well in time. Keep doing that. And do this one. Oh, Christ, did it again. So I'm going to select all 3 of these. And just put that in there. And we're going to create clipping mask. Oh, that way around. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we got that one, and that one. Cool. And we can hide the background. Okay, so let's save those out. So I've got, actually let's put a border on it as well. Stroke. Do inside. Actually, I'll do outside. And do 5 pixels. Yep. And then I'm going to expand it by 8. Go again by another 5 pixels. So we've got like that sort of look. Okay. So, right, so now I've got that, I can save these out. So let's save these out. I'm just going to chuck them onto my desktop for now. Skill A1. File, save as. Skill A2. A is referring to the branch. That's how I'm organizing it. And file, save as. Skill A3. Nope, done it as a Photoshop file here. Skill. There we go. Okay, so now we've got those. Let's bring that into Unreal. I'm just going to make a new folder here from icons. And import in those 3 skill icons. Where did I put them? There we go. Yes, that's 3 skill icons. Okay, so now we've got those. Let's go in and create our skill UI. So the skill UI, we're going to be a size box. So we don't need a canvas panel for this. Canvas panel is only if you're doing absolute positioning. We're not, so we don't need to worry about that. So I'm going to do a size box. And width and height override of 128 by 128. May have to change that later, we'll see. We'll do that. Okay. And then we're going to drag in an image. And let's set that image to one of these by default. Like so. Cool. All right, let's change that from fill screen to desired so we can see how it's going to look. And there is our skill. And we're going to also wrap this with a button. So wrap with button. And we're going to get rid of the background color of the button. So we can turn it down to 0, like so. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to now close this for now. Let's just get the appearance sorted out first. And see how we get on with that. So are you getting stuttering in the video or just the audio? Or is it both? Let us know how the quality is coming through for some of you. I haven't changed nothing. It should be the same as usually is each week. So I'm going to go skill branch. Okay, and for this, we're going to recreate this shape. Okay, so we are going to do what would be a good way of doing this? Probably, well, first of all, we don't need a canvas panel. But what would be best? Probably the video setup in. Oh, sorry. There's not much I can do about it. I literally have done nothing to the settings. They should be the same. Hopefully it'll fix itself. We'll see. As I say, we'll do a full series on this at some point. So, we'll see how we get on with that. Anyway, right, I'm getting distracted. Okay, so what would be best for this? Let's have a look at the panel options. I'm thinking we could do horizontal one and offset it. Let's see how that looks. See if that's possible. So go in here. I'm just going to drag it in my skill theorem. Let's change that to desired, like so. And the trick is to get that one up like that sort of shape, the triangle sort of shape. Which you can do. You can change the render translation of it. so you can change whereabouts it is. So for example, I can up that a little bit, like so. Well, I don't know if this also affects the. I don't think it affects the button. I think it's still interactive as it is. Okay, so we do that. Do this. Like so. And now we'll do that. We'll see how it goes. Let's put it into our skill tree. And let's drag in our skill branch. Like so. Compile, and that'll do. Okay, so we got our first branch in, but what I want to do is I just want to check if these buttons still work. So what I'm going to do is we do some basic functionality on the buttons. So on the button on hovered, we're just going to do a print string, and leave it as hello. Actually, I have to give it an actual number. Test number. And change that to an integer. And plug that in. So I'm going to make that editable. So that means I can go into my branch and I can assign a number to each one. So I know which one is being activated when I hover over it. Like so. Right, now let's add that to the viewport. I'm going to do really quick add to that. So we'll do it properly in a second. Get rid of the laptop bit, don't need it, not doing VR. And we're going to create widget, skill, tree UI. And add to viewport. So we're just testing it. None of this is what we're going to keep. We'll be changing that in a second. Oh, I have to make the mouse cursor. Right, so it does work. So 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay, it does work. Cool. Right, let's get rid of what we just did, because we don't want that there. The archive for this will be available straight away for patrons, and in 2 weeks' time for everyone else. So if you're missing anything or missed a start, don't fret, you can catch it up later on. Okay, so we've got a basic concept of the skill tree looking. So we've got the simple branch there, and we've got a skill tree showing it here. And again, this is our target of doing this. So we need also another one at the bottom here, like so. So what we could do is just duplicate this skill branch. I'm going to name this one skill branch A. And I'm going to duplicate this. Call it B. And then all I'm going to do is click on this, go to its render transform, and the Y, change it to positive 67. There you go. Okay. Right, now let's actually do the proper setup. So the proper setup for this is you have a heads-up display, and this is like your main panel that controls all your game's UI stuff. In the first-person template, you get a game mode, but not a controller. So let's create a custom controller. My player controller. As we've got, it's much better to have your own controller so you can customize bits of it. So that's what we want for this. And then I'm going to do some inputs, action mapping, and we'll do open skills, and we'll give this one the tab key, like so. I'm going to go to my game mode and make sure my player controller class is set to my new one. Compile, then go to open full blueprint editor. In your game mode, it's a good idea to set up the HUD here. So I'm going to go begin play, create widget to create the widget in memory, heads up display, and then I'm going to promote that to a variable, and that's quite important because you want to be able to access it later. So you want to store this basically it's an address. You're storing it for later use. So I'm going to call this one heads up display, and then I'm going to tell it to add it to viewport. Add to viewport. Hit compile. Okay. Close that. Go to my player controller. Event graph. And in here we can use that input event we set up. So we can go open skills. So when that key is pushed on the controller, it will happen here. And when it's pressed, first thing we're going to do is tell the HUD to show the actually no, let's take away control first from the player. So let's get player character. I'm going to go enable, disable input, and when it's pressed, we are going to yeah, what would be a good way of doing this? So I'm just thinking in my head what would be the best way, the easiest way of showing this. We could just do a flip-flop. That'd be probably the easiest way of doing it. So flip-flop, there and there. And the player controller is itself because this is a player controller. So self, go there and there. Excellent. Okay. So when we first push it, wrong way around. We want to disable the input. And when we push it again, we want to re-enable the input. Okay. So that'll do that. Next, we want to show the mouse cursor when we disable the input. So set show mouse cursor and tick that box. We're going to put that also on this one. Untick it. Like so. Okay, next we need to set up the HUD to display the skills tree. So on the heads up display here, graph, we're going to create a custom event to display skills tree. And on here, we're going to create input. And in here, we're going to do, we'll do enable. Enable will be a true or false statement, and it will tell it to either turn off or on. So in there, we can do a branch. And this is when we control whether or not we can see or access the skill tree. So what I'm actually going to do is just create it. I'm not going to do a visible or invisible one. So we'll do the creation. So display skill tree. If it's enable true, we want to create a widget. And we're going to choose the skill tree. And we're going to tell it to add, drag the HUD canvas out here. And add child to canvas. And that's the content there. Then return value here, we're going to set auto size to true. So it should fill the whole entire screen in. What we'll then want to do is store that as a variable. So promote that to variable. Skill tree UI. And on the false, we're going to drag a skill tree out and remove from parent. Okay. And click compile. So now we can call this custom event. So I'm going to go back to our controller. And we're going to get our game mode and its menu. It's HUD, sorry. So we're doing it on begin play. And the reason why you're doing it on begin play is because casting is quite expensive to do a lot of the time. And you only need to do it once really. So you might as well do it on a game mode at the begin play, sorry. So get game mode, and we're going to cast that to our first person game mode. And with that, we're going to get access to the heads up display. Now I've got it, I want to store it, so I'd have to keep going through this process again and again. So we're going to go and call this one heads up display and plug that in. So when it starts, it's going to cast it and get the heads up display reference from the game mode and then store its own reference for later use. And later use is down here. So when we are calling our skill tree, heads up display, we're going to then call the display skills tree. And we're going to copy, paste. This is just one way of doing the same thing, by the way. There's loads of ways of doing this. So sharing mouse cursor, we're going to enable there, false into there. Okay. So it's only going to show the skill tree if the skill mouse is showing, essentially. Oh, target, yeah. Okay, so let's see if this works. There you go. And I can enable and disable my skill tree. Okay, with that done, we want to change the input mode as well. So on here, we're going to input mode to UI only. And we're going to do input mode. What the hell is that spelling? Input mode to game mode. Oh, god damn it. To game mode. Game only. So once again, the player controls itself, like so. Yeah. But I want a widget to focus on. So what I could do here is on the display skills tree function, I can make an output here for the widget and display that there. So I'm just double click on there, go back to here. And I'm going to make this a function. So I'm going to select all this and collapse to function. Like so. Oh. Compile it, then I can change the name. There you go. So in that function, the reason why you want it as a function is because events can't have outputs, but functions can. So I'm going to select on this and create a new output and go widget, and the type here is a widget. I'm just going to plug that in like so. And the widget we want to add is our skill tree UI. Click compile. So now we've got that set up, I can go back to my player controller. I need to change this somewhat. I think. Oh no, it's figured it out. It's figured it out. It's good. Okay, so input mode UI, we can drag that widget now into widget focus, and there you go. The version of Unreal we're in, I think, is 2.3. I think it is 4.23. I think because my 4.24 was updating. So, yeah. I had to pause that because it weren't done in time. Okay, so that should now make that a bit of a smoother transition. Wait, I need to change. Wait, okay. Problem. I knew it was going to be a bug. Because we're changing the input mode to UI only, we want to set. We want to actually change that to game in UI. Set input mode to game in UI. Because when you do it to UI, you lose the player controller. which we need to turn this back off and on. So I'll do that. Play. Test that out. And there you go. Hey, perfect. Okay. Okay, so that's that working. So we got that set up. Let's go and just polish up a bit more of our UI stuff. So my skill tree, I'm going to put in a blur. I'll put it underneath, I think. And I'm going to give it a blur strength of, let's say 5. And we're going to do border. Again, underneath everything. And, oh wait, I've got to make sure these stretch. So the blur and the border, if you go up to the anchors, you can change it to stretch full screen. And you just change the offsets to all be 0. And it fills the whole thing. And do the same here. Like so. But the brush color for our border is going to be a dark grey, 0.5. Just going to store that for later use, like so. You compare. So it. Oh, why is it doing that? Oh, I've got to change its anchor to fill the whole screen. Damn. Okay. So the reason why that's showing is because on heads-up display, like for example, I'll just drag it in. This is what's happening. So if I drag the skill tree in, okay, it's dragging it to like there, okay, and I've told it to be auto size. So this is auto size. So, see, size to content, it maxes out like that. What I need to do is change it so it stretches through the whole entire thing. Like that. So let's what would be the best way of doing that? I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll go and we'll return back to the player controller, not player controller, head-up display. And when we go onto here, we need to set all those settings up. So skill tree UI, we need to set the anchor. And we're going to make anchors. Minimum 0, 0, maximum is 1, 1, and I believe that's full screen. And once you've got that, we're going to set offsets. Set offset. I think you can do that. Set offset. Maybe not. Let's see how that looks first of all. Play. No. Should be able to set the offset. Set. Where is it? Desired size. Set alignment. Position. Would it count as position? Could we do this? Yes, so skill branch UI is something I created, yeah, Kim. I'm good AO to vids. I'm just trying to figure out where the offset code goes. Like, because when you add something to here, sorry, go to skill tree, you got size and you got offsets. So if I go to there, I guess that's position because it overwrites the position data. So let's just try the positioning. Let's see. Let's just see what that does. Yeah, no. Should be able to change the offset. You know what? Let's do it the easy way. So what I'm going to do here is rather than create a new widget, we're just going to drag the skill tree out into the HUD canvas. And we'll take it to fill the whole screen. Like so. And we're going to tell it to hide by default. hidden. And then on header display, when we call this, rather than create the skill tree UI, we get rid of this. I don't know which one it is. This one we can delete. No, it is. Yeah, this one. Yep. Okay. And then we're not going to add it. We're not going to set anchors or anything like that. We don't need to do any of that. Instead, we just tell this to change its visibility. Set visibility to visible. And we're not going to remove from parent either. Set visibility. Make it hidden. Return node. That widget. And that'll do. There we go. Okay, so right, so that's that set up. Next we need to do is be able to choose which skill we want to have. So these skills need to be off and on, 2 versions. So in here we're going to create a variable saying is activated. And what we'll do is on get rid of the hovered one. We do on clicked for the button. And when the button is on clicked, we are going to check is activated. Actually no, because we want to. Interesting problem. Okay, so what we'll need to do is determine if we're in a branch or not. So I'm going to set up another one saying is exclusive. Let's do exclusive. And by default, we'll make that true. Because the majority of them are going to be exclusive. So on clicked, if this is exclusive, we want to get the parent of this, get parent. And then we want to get the children of that parent. Get all children. And what we're going to do there is do a for loop for each of them. For each loop. So if it's exclusive, the reason why we're doing this is because we need to cycle through all the other siblings, essentially, in the same branch, and tell them to all deactivate, and then activate this one. Okay? So on the array element here, we are going to cast to our skill UI and set is activated to false. So it turns them all off. Okay, that's what that's doing. And then we're going to set this one to be true. If it's not exclusive, we just want to tell, we're just going to take the is activated. Yep, is activated. And we're going to not this. And then set is activated. This is an easy way of making it toggle a boolean. So it basically just, the not basically reverses whatever this is. So if it's false, it becomes true and set it. If it's true, it becomes false and then set it. Okay, so that's the easiest way of doing that. So on clicked, it'll do that. After that, we then want to change the appearance somewhat of this. So what I'm going to do is, what would be the best way of doing this? I can change the image opacity. That might be an idea. So we drag out our image and go set render opacity. Actually, let's make a custom function for this. Custom event. Right, do a function. Update icon. Get is activated and do that into a branch. and then we'll get our image, set render opacity, and we'll set the render opacity of this if it's activated to 1, and if it's not true, we'll do 0.5. Go back to my event graph, and then I'll drag that function onto the end of each of these paths here. If you, some people often ask me, how do I remember what each of these are? Okay, like the, for example, know what I'm looking for, set render opacity. If you want to know how you can change this, the way you do it is in widgets anyway. If you see a setting here on the right hand side details panel, that's a function or variable that you can change. So here I know I've got the render opacity of an image somewhere. Opacity. Yeah. So I can change the render opacity here to whatever. If it's on here, you can change it via a thing here. And it's often the same title as this. So for example, if I want to change the brush, I'll just do set brush. And you've got various options there. Okay. If I wanted to change the tooltip text, I can set the tooltip text. Yeah. So if it's in that details panel, you can change any of those settings. So that's I'm not remembering them all off by heart. I just know what they're called because I've seen them here. Yeah. That's a common question I often get. Anyway, so that's updating the icon. So let's test this out now. Don't know if I've done that. Yeah. Okay. And let's set default first of all on pre-construct update icon. So now, yeah, see, they should all start at 0.5. Yeah. So difference between pre-construct and construct, easiest difference is that you pre-construct, you can see the effect of the construct happening here in the editor, whereas construct you can't. So if you want to test things out, pre-construct is easier. Okay, push play, and let's go into there. I can click on one, activate it, click on another. It should deactivate the other, and it doesn't because it's a little bitch. Okay, so let's go. Apologies for the language. Okay, so I'm gonna click on it. Okay, if it's exclusive, I have set it to be exclusive. True. Yes. So if it's true, yes, it is true. Get all the children off the for each loop. Blah 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 blah. Let's. That's why. Put on completed. Nope. Let's try that again. So let's just check that this is actually outputting something. This should output hello 3 times because there's 3 children. Yeah, so that's working. So for some reason it's not calling this. Interesting. Oh, I see Earthborn John caught that mistake before I did. Well done. So what is this issue? Why is that not ticking off all these? It should do. Oh, it's because we're not calling update icon for all of these. So I have to go update icon and drag from there. Because we have to tell each of them to update their icon as well. Because they were being turned off, just not visually. So, there you go. Got a bit of an overlap on the button, so we need to fix that at some point, but there you go. Cool. So we've got those functions set up. Next, we need to be able to make it so we can change what skill we've got in each icon slot. So let's change the image here and set skill thumbnail. And that's going to be a texture 2D, and I'm going to tick editable for this. And other things we're going to need on here is skill Name, I guess. Be text. I'll get rid of that test number now. Don't need that. Skill name, and I'll do a skill description as well. Make them all editable. And the reason why you're editable is because then when you're in your skill tree or skill branch, in here I can click on this and I can change details here. So let's go back to our skill and hook up these variables to the game. Get rid of these two things. So I'm going to put on a pre-construct. I'm going to drag the image out, get and set brush from texture. And that texture is the thumbnail, like so. So now my branch, I can click on this one and set this one to skill A, skill A2, skill A3. So there's our three icons there. And you can see it in the branch, like so. Okay. So that's that bit done. Next, let's do a branch that is not exclusive, so you can activate all of them. So let's do. I'm going to copy this one out again. Duplicate. Skill branch C UI. So this one's going to have 4. So I'm going to duplicate this one, and this one is going to have the same location coordinates as this, except in reverse. So minus 60 and 67 I want. So minus 60 and 67. Oh, that's 60? No. Oh, it's relative, isn't it? Okay. So let's just drag that like so. That's probably not the best way of doing it. I'd be a better way of doing that. Probably just using a canvas probably would be best. Should we do a canvas? Can we replace that with a canvas panel? Okay. Let's wrap maybe with a canvas panel. Don't know why that's doing that. That should. What am I missing on the settings for that? Yeah, nothing. Why is mine looking all weird? Oh wait, because I'm on. There you go, full screen. It wasn't weird, it was just the rendering of it. Okay, so if I replace with and let's try doing let's get rid of these three first. Do one at a time. So I get this one, and then I want to do another one. So I'm going to duplicate those three. And what I'm going to do is, ideally we want to tie them all together around a central point, don't we? What if we could use this in this current position? No, let's just do the center. Let's just do the center here. So if I change the position here to here, and then This one, again, center, reset. But if I change this to -128, got like that. And this one, again, center, -128, -128. Once we've got them in position, I'll have a better time with this. Hang on. So then we'll go minus. Oh, I've got to change it. -128. Okay, but I want them off-centered a little bit, don't I? So this one would be 0. No. Yeah, I just changed the alignment. So here I changed alignment to 0.5. That's it. That's it. 0. Oh. Change it to 1. This one is 0.5 in the Y. Oh. Minus 0.5. Yeah. Minus 0.5 here. And then 0.5 here. There we go. Actual grid-like shape now. Hit compile. Okay, so if I now go into my heads-up display and let's test if this works in my skill tree. If I now drag that in, it should be alright. Yeah. Now, canvas panel will fill up the whole entire screen at once, so I don't know if I like that or not being in that way. See, I don't know if I like it like that. I don't know if we were better off with the horizontal box. That's a bit buggy and a bit broken. Because I can't change the positioning of the skill tree. Yeah, Carlito, we are doing a skill tree. For Destiny's 2-star. So, I think I'm going to go back to this method here. This, it's nice. It's neater, but we've got issue where we can't reposition it easily. At least here we have a lot more control. Unless we could move this about. Oh, screw it, just do that. That'd be fine. So we've got that button, that one. Got those skills. Okay, so this let's go back to the branch. So skill branch C is not exclusive, meaning that all these icons can be activated at once. So I want to click on each one of these, and I want to make sure I tell them not to be exclusive. I need to make it public. So let's go back to our skill, and let's make sure exclusivity is set to editable. And on skill branch C, I now turn that off for each of these ones, so that these can all be turned on. And off. So, like so. And this one's exclusive. You can only choose one at a time. But there you go. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've got the UI part working, but what about actually getting them to actually do something? So I'm not going to have time to go through and create individual abilities for all of them. So what I will be doing is, if we make a new folder here and just do simple abilities, just print strings. I'm not going to have time to do all the effects and stuff like that. So I'm going to create a new blueprint class, choose actor, and do ability 1. And I'm going to duplicate that, ability 2. Duplicate that. Ability 3. Ideally, let's do that again. Blueprint class, make that ability parent, and then create children from that. By the way, my patrons have access to the ability system series. So if you want to know how to do abilities properly, become a patron for $1 and you can start watching them now. It's currently coming out. And if you're a gold patron, you get access to the project files for that series as well. Okay, and on ability parent, we can go and just make a custom event called activate ability, and that's going to simply just print string, and we're going to print it ability name and set that to text. I'm just going to drag that into the print string. But obviously you make abilities do whatever you want, but here we just take print string. So activate ability, print string, and I'll tell its ability to kill itself after a certain time. Class defaults, last span 3 seconds. Okay, so activate ability is there, and that all works. By default, our ability name would be default, and click compile. Okay, so that's that. You can, Sean, but I'd say I'm trying to get through this as quickly as possible in the time we've got left. Okay, so we've got the ability made. Let's go around and make the other, change the settings for all these. So change the name of this one to, I can't remember what the icons look like. What do the icons look like? Skill tree. So we've got thunder, something, health. Okay, so we call this one thunder. This one we'll call aura, and this one we'll call healing. Okay, so when we click on them, only one of these will be activated. Okay, and when it's activated, we want to tell the player character to use only one special ability. So here we're going to make a simple event here, and it's going to be input event. So let's do it with Q. So on a Q on the keyboard, when it's pushed, we're going to play our ability. So here I'm going to create a new variable called ability. Ability A will do. And ability A is the type of ability parent. And when you push Q, ability A is going to activate ability. Then on my skill tree, we are going to, on our skill, have a ability assigned to it. So ability, and the type of that is ability parent. And we'll make that editable. When this button is clicked, we want to get the player character, cast to the first person character, set ability A, because this is branch A. No, this one isn't branch A, is it? We want to check that it's branch A. Okay, right, what we'll do is, okay, we'll do an events dispatcher. Okay, so cancel that. We can't do it on here because this same skill button is being used everywhere else. So what we'll do is we'll put on the branch and make it an event dispatcher activate this skill. Okay. So let's go and what would be the best way of doing this? Okay, event dispatcher, new one. We'll go skill clicked. And event dispatcher, we're going to call it Actually, going to give it an input first. Inputs. We'll go ability, and type for that is ability parent. And we're now going to call that here. So call ability here, like so. Okay, and same for this one here. We'll just do exactly the same, like so. So now ability is being called when we click on these things. Okay, close that and go back to the skill tree. So I'm rushing because I'm realizing the time. I don't want to go on for too long with this. Carlito, I make random tutorial series. I do series and one-offs. That way you don't have to watch 100 videos to make a game. You can just watch all the bits that you need relevant towards whatever you want to make. Try and teach people how to do this stuff. Anyway, right, back to this. Okay, so yes, if I open up the skill branch A, I can click on each one of these and set the ability for this. So this is ability 1. It should be able to pick. Oh, I've got to choose a class, that's why. Sorry, my mistake. Ability might be a class, so I need to delete that, and change that to a class type. Ability parent class reference, and our skill clicked needs that to also be a class reference. A class reference is if you are referencing the generic thing, okay? The normal object reference is if you're referencing a specific instance that you spawned into the world. We haven't spawned a specific ability into the world, so we're just going to use ability as a class. Compile and go back to the branch. Now I can click on this and I can choose which ability I want it to use. So that's ability only 3. Why is that only showing? Oh, I didn't do ability parent, that's why. Ability parent class reference. Yep. There we go. So now I can choose ability 1, ability 2, ability 3. Okay. So these are going to call event dispatchers. And then on the skill branch UI, we are going to assign that to the player when we hear that event dispatcher go off. So first of all, we need to set up that event dispatcher link. So I'm going to go and get all 3 of these. So get, make an array. And I can add all 3 of them as an array. Then I'm going to do a for each loop for each of these. And for each one, I'm going to bind skill clicked. So on skill clicked, I need a custom event. So let's go custom event. Try it again. Custom event. And this is going to be skill activate. Now this won't connect first of all. It'll give you an error because it needs to have the same inputs as your event that you've bound. So on here, I'm going to go new input, ability, and this will be a class of ability parent. Now I can connect these 2 up. I have to compile first. Connect those 2 up there, compile, and it should be okay. Right, on skill activate, we're going to get the player character. We're going to tell it to cast to the first person character. We're then going to set. Oh wait, we have to go back to I didn't change that one to a skill parent to a class. So we go back to here, change that to a class, not an instance reference. So ability parent, class reference. Do nothing. I need to get rid of this first. Ability parent, class reference. That's it. Okay, then drag that out. Create. Not create. Spawn. Act from class. And then hook that up. Okay, so that's going to spawn the ability, and the ability is going to activate and do its thing. Okay, and activate itself onto the player. So ability A, we now need to set on our skill tree. So if we go back to our skill tree, skill branch rather, and here we're going to set ability A to this ability here. So and that's it. Okay, so when we click a button, it's going to call this event, and it's bound to this custom event here. So when this hears that, it's going to get the player character and set the ability A variable to the ability of that skill. Then on a player character, whenever we push Q, it's going to activate the ability in A branch and whatever that is. Okay, and in this case, it's just going to print a string, but you can make it do whatever you want. So at the moment, if I go in here and turn on the Thunder one, I need to tell tab. Tab is a bad key to use. Let's change that from tab to something else. Project settings. You can change that, but no, too much time. Let's just do just E. Just for testing purposes, just E. That'll do. Right. E. Do that. Close it. And now if I push the Q button, I see it says Thunder. If I now go back to my skill tree and activate the second one here, and then push Q, I get Aura. If I go back to here, I can now activate Healing. Okay, so I've got a skill tree there where I've decided which skill is going to be assigned to the ability. The ability is still one key, it's not doing anything different, same key every time, but the skill tree is determining which skill should be playing it. And if you wish, you could make it so that the ability here is locked into place, and you have to unlock it with some currency or whatever you want to do, or just lock it in place entirely. You make the player force a choice. Okay. Now, regarding these ones, these are going to be like sort of stat boosts. So if I go to a player character, let's give a basic stat here. We go strength. I don't know, whatever nonsense you want to give it. Float, and we'll say default value for that is 10. Whatever. And then when those are clicked, okay. We want to go to skill branch C. And do basically what we did here. So we need to take that, and that. And we need to construct an array of those 4 skills. Oh. Like so. So now we bind this event to something else. So custom event here. Skill activate. Give it that input because it needs it, otherwise it won't connect. Although we're not going to, will we use it? Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, of course we will. Go ability parent. Oh, damn it. Need a class reference. Plug that in. Compile. But this one's different. So this one won't set a skill on the player character. Instead, we're going to change the value on the player character. So the ability here is going to be different. So what we do here is we tell this one to spawn from here, and set actor get actor location. I need to get player first. Oh my god. Get player character. There we go. Get actor transform. So I'm actually spawning that ability in. Now that ability is different because what that's going to do, we'll make another one here. Create child. Ability 4, we'll call this one. Now where ability parent is going to print string like so with activate ability, ability 4 isn't. So on the event graph here, I can right click and get activate ability event, but not call the parent function. Instead, what I'm going to do is get the player character, cast to first person character, and then I can set their strength. For example, this one is going to be strength, so set strength, let's get strength, and I don't know, add 15, whatever you're doing, do that. Okay, like so. So that one is going to just tell it to add that strength to it. It's still going to die after 3 seconds, like anything else, but it won't be able to spawn again, because what we'll do is on our skill branch C, no, it's not skill branch, skill UI, if it's exclusive and is activated, we want to make it lock in. So if you want to make it lock in, we just do that, and that's it. Now we'll lock it in because you can't change it. So do this, and then we call that here. Okay, so let's have a look at that. I need to test it. How am I to show it? Ability 4. So when that's plain, we will do a print string of this value. Okay, so we should see 25 come up in the corner. I have to actually set that value to something. Hang on. Let's see. .4. So it's the top one. So the top one not working. Why is that not working? Okay, let's have a look at that. What have I missed? Okay. So let's break this down. So it doesn't work. So let's figure out where it breaks. So I'm going to go back and put a print string here. Oh, wait. We have to actually take to activate the ability. Activate ability. There we go. So here I'm going to go boom, and there you go, 25. Okay. But I don't want to keep doing that. So need to lock that off properly, which was on here. Simplest way of doing it actually would be on skill UI is activated and do once. Oh. So we have successfully recreated a lot of how the Destiny 2 skill tree works. So we've now got a skill tree that's got an exclusive branch, and obviously the bottom one's exactly the same as the top one, and so is the side one, but it's only got two. It's exactly the same stuff. But this one, you've got the top, only the top one's working at the moment, but the top one is exactly the same as the code as the other ones. You just got to set them to whatever ability you want to use. But these are more skill things. They're changing like stats and things like that. So they'll activate once, change the stat, and that's it. Okay. Um, that's kind of it. I can't think. We're pretty much at the end of time. So, does anyone have any questions about what I've just gone through? And I know it's very rushed, but don't fret. I will be doing a full series on skill trees in the future. One that's a lot more fully featured with a lot more stuff in it. A lot more options available. But in the sense of tonight, we're just recreating Destiny 2. But if you have any questions, throw them away, and I'll recap anything you want me to recap, explain anything you want me to explain. I know we went through it fast, so I probably didn't explain a lot of it very well. But we've done quite a bit in an hour. Whilst you guys are deliberating your questions, I'm going to take a sip of my drink because I've been talking a lot. Oh dear. I'll check out your channel, Odyssey. I didn't get the beginning. I say it will be archived and available to everyone in 2 weeks' time, but available to patrons tonight or tomorrow morning. So in like a few hours' time. But in the beginning, all we did was we created basically UI stuff that you saw here. So we went through. Hang on, let's stop this. And created the shapes and so forth. I made the icons in Photoshop. Yeah. So you didn't miss too much in the beginning. The beginning was mostly just legwork to get stuff eventually. Another thing that I just thought about, which could be a possibility for one of your skills that you're on your skill tree, is you may have a skill which alters ability. So you may have one that does, say, for example, your fireball now leaves a dot on the enemy, whatever it may be. Okay, it may cause the enemy to burn and deal damage over time and so forth. So if that's the case, when you do activate ability for the skill, the ability here, for example, you'll do all the code here to go and basically turn on a toggle on an ability class on the how am I thinking of? No, how would you do that? It'd be like a Boolean toggle. Click it, this will spawn, and then it'll have to change something. How would you do that? Well, one way you could do it actually is you can make it so this thing doesn't have a lifespan. It stays in the game entirety. And then when you're casting an ability that does like a fireball, for example, you just check if that instance exists. And if it does exist, then do extra stuff, for example. I don't know. I'll have to come back and think about that one. And think of a better solution for that. Again, a series coming out for it at some point in the future, so I'll add it to that list of to-do features. How do you add tooltips to the talents? Okay, let's quickly show that. So we'll do a new widget, and this could be the tooltip. And in the tooltip, give it a canvas panel. We'll do a size box, width. Just do a width override of 300. And in there, we'll do a vertical box. And in there, we'll have 2 text values. This one's going to be called skill name and tick its variable. This one's going to be skill description tick this variable. And skill description is going to wrap. So I'm going to wrap it at 300. Like so. And let's just change the font for this a little bit. So we'll change that to 30. Let's change that to 40. There we go. And like so. Also I want to wrap this with a border. Like that. Okay. So there's our tooltip. Now we're going to bind these things to some variables. So on here, we're going to go new variable, type name, text. That'd be text, and description, text, or body text, whatever you want to call it. And then on the pre-construct, or no, we'll make a new variable, a new event, custom event, display tooltip, set visibility to visible, and we're going to set skill name, set text, skill description, set text, like so. And we want to make another custom event for hiding it. So another custom event, hide tooltip. And just set visibility to hidden. Compile that. Okay, so that's the tooltip done. Then on the skill UI here, we'll do a hover of the button. We'll have to get the game mode and whatnot. So let's do that here. Game mode. Cast to first person game mode. Now get us our heads up display reference, which I want to store. Storing the HUD as a reference allows us to use it down here for later use. First of all, let's add it to our HUD. So I'm just going to add the tooltip to the HUD any way you want. Let's change its position to be like so. There you go. Size the content. Okay, so that's that. Where was I? I was on here. No, on the skill. There you go. On hovered, we'll get the HUD. Get tooltip. Display tooltip. On display tooltip, we want to. Oh, I need to make it editable. Little eyeballs, and then I can see it in my thing here. So set name text to skill name, set description text to skill description, and then set to display. And then on unhovered, we get the tooltip, set to hide. Okay. Once it's displaying it, go to tooltip, and we're going to tell it to find the location of the mouse. So find, not find, get cursor. No, I can't remember what it's called now. Get pointer. What's it called? Viewport. Get mouse position of viewport. So set position. To the mouse position there. So I hit play. Or not. I don't know working. Oh, that's because I haven't set any. It's not change the position though. You should change the position. Right, okay. So if I go into skill branch A, for example, let's just put in a name here, Thunder. Leave a Thunder AoE on the floor. Okay, so the text is changing, but not the position. Why is the position not changing? Tooltip. Honestly, how long I've been working with UE4? About 2.5 years. Properly, anyway, 2.5 years. I don't know why this isn't working. Let's print string this. Oh wait, I think I know. It's because the canvas that it's in. So I need to get the parent. Cast to canvas panel. Guess a slot object on the child widget as a canvas slot. Okay. Slot as canvas slot. Let's see if this works. Viewport. Get mouse position on viewport. No. So I don't think that's outputting as that. Let's print string that. Yeah, it's not even getting that far, is it? It's not. Okay. It's like 1:30 in the morning here, so I'm quite tired. Get the parent. Cast to. Oh no. What do I want to do? Will I do a tutorial on creating classes with different skills? probably not different class or different skills, because by the time the actual series of the skill tree will come out, the ability system series will be out, and you can just use that and that combined and do the same. You do whatever you want with it then. So the ability system series will show you how to do something similar to that. Yeah, I'm kind of suffering. I get about 3-4 hours sleep a night, and it's really hit me tonight. I need to get position of this within inside its parent. So I need to get parent, cast to canvas panel. No, because that's the whole object. I don't want that. I want a slot. I don't see why that wouldn't work though. I need to get the slot as canvas slot. Self. Is that why I didn't do it? It didn't work. Let's try that again. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So now you've got tooltips. Kind of buggy. I need to do a proper video on how to do tooltips. But there you go. There's the gist of it. Okay. Done. Yeah, so there are loads of videos of the ability system series will be out soon for people. It's out at the moment for patrons, so they've got it. Well, at least they got half of it so far. They're getting the other half over the next few weeks. That combined with the skill tree will help you make any kind of class-based system. If you want to make a class-based system, you should be able to figure it out from those two things, because that's most of the work there. But I think that we're going to call it a night. So it's 1:42 in the morning here. So we're going to call it there. So thanks very much for joining us tonight. We successfully created a skill tree. At least the bones of one. That lets us change what skills we currently have on the player. Next week we are doing... What are we doing next week? It'll be question time next week. So if you have any particular questions, well, any questions at all really, about games development, Unreal Engine 4, game design, gaming, anything, food, whatever you like, films, come by next weekend. We'll do a live question time, and you can ask all the questions you want in chat. So join us next week for the... bye-bye.